Summer Alex is a permanent 5-star flame bow unit that works like a fusion of Leonidas and Kimono Elisanne. She has a scorch rend kit like the former and scorch rend resistance reduction like the latter. The combination of skills and abilities that she has going on makes her optimal as a dedicated scorch rend support unit, much like Rena on burn support and Sharina on paralysis support. Let's see what's going on in her kit and find out how dedicated her kit is towards inflicting scorch rend. Her first skill, Tropical Snipe, costs 2560 SP. It deals 1626% damage in a line and lowers scorch rend resistance by 20% for 30 seconds. This skill changes when her second skill is used prior to activating this skill. The changed version of this skill maintains the same scorch rend resistance reduction, but deals more damage at 2355% and removes Scorch Bloom from enemies. At this point, you are curious about Scorch Bloom. Scorch Bloom is an affliction that deals damage and applies scorch rend when removed, either through her first skill or by its expiration after 30 seconds. It's kind of like Killer Queen's bombs, with the first skill being the main and only trigger. This skill by itself has decent damage and has a valuable affliction reduction effect that works very well with other scorchrend-enabling units in drawn-out fights, since affliction resistance can build up over time. Overall, this skill is quite good on its own, but it's designed specifically to work in tandem with her second skill. Her second skill, Burning Bonds, proves that Summer Alex is a stand user, with Summer Elisanne being the stand. It costs 7140 SP, summons Summer Elisanne, and deals 2065% damage in a line. It also provides a strength amp, with a maximum team amp level of 3, and applies Scorch Bloom to enemies for 30 seconds. Scorch Bloom itself cannot stack, and can only be reapplied once removed. When removed, it deals 1432% damage, and inflicts Scorch Rend. I'm not really sure why did the wiki mentioned about cannot be dispelled, since I don't think Scorch Bloom can be classified as a buff. This skill by itself is decent, but it's obviously designed to work with skill 1. Typically, when using her, Scorch Bloom will always be removed through her skill 1, not through expiration. Strictly following the pattern of 1, 2, 1, 2 will make these skills work well. Overall, this skill shines when working together with her first skill, but is a decent skill by itself with strength amp and decent damage. Summer Alex has the typical skill haste co-ability for bows, and combo time as a chain co-ability. Combo time is a good chain co-ability to have, and also greatly assists one of her unique abilities. For abilities, Summer Alex actually has two similar abilities with different activation requirements. She has two variants of Scorch Rend Edge and Sting. The first variant has 15 or higher combo as a requirement, and increases Scorch Rend chance by 50%, and extends its duration by 30%. The second variant has a strength amp requirement, and increases Scorch Rend chance by 30%, and extends its duration by 30%. Both of these are excellent abilities, as they pretty much guarantee consistent Scorch Rend when both of these requirements are met, as well as the Scorch Rend resistance debuff from her first skill. The duration extension is able to compensate for the high SP cost of her Scorch Rend inflicting skill. Her resistance ability is 100% sleep resist, which isn't really different from stun resist, other than some difficulty in fighting high Mijard Sorma. Summer Alex is obviously a unit with dedication towards Scorch Rend. She may not be able to spam Scorch Rend, but she can make it last longer and increase its chance of infliction. She also has decent skill damage in both of her skills. She'll do well with a support focus kit, with some DPS print/ abilities, to complement her decent skill damage. A support dragon is what Summer Alex needs. Unfortunately, as of the time of recording, there isn't any skill haste dragons in the flame element. The one closest to it is Horus, with 20% attack rate boost that can increase rate of filling of her skill gauges. Other dragons that can be used are offense related. The best among them is Sakuya, as Alex has decent skill damage. Ani, Cerberus and Prometheus also work, with Prometheus even providing some defense to increase survivability. Lastly, if you really want to, Reborn Ani is a good option, if you want to turn her into your main DPS. It's a viable, but not optimal build. Flame-Agito weapons work well despite their simplicity. Their alternating skills can switch from offensive modes into defensive modes, allowing change of tactics depending on the combat situation. Hence, the Dragalia is a great weapon on her. The Valkyrie's Fire is a good alternative, and a stepping stone, to start building the Dragalia, as High Brunhilde is not a tough stage to fight. For her Wimprint setup, I have a support focus build, with some offense abilities, to take up empty slots in my Wimprint menu. Summer Alex is definitely an excellent Scorchrend support unit, to the point of being tailored specifically to the role of Scorchrend. Lowering Scorchrend resistance is vital to keep up Scorchrend in drawn out battles, with Summer Alex being the most accessible option. The only other units having this debuff are Kimono Elisanne and Faris, with the former being a limited unit, while the latter only has the debuff present at phase 3 and after sigil release. Her skill damage mods are decent enough for her to be a secondary damage dealer too. As for her weaknesses, her main one is kind of a stretch. Her playstyle is vastly different from other support units, as she is the first support unit that provides affliction resist, with the others in the class provide either team boosts or debuffs. Rena and Shirina, who are the units that are quite similar in terms of affliction support, are within the defense unit class. Her highly specific role may also not be everyone's cup of tea. Overall, Summer Alex is a very first unit with a prominent focus towards a single affliction, a highly specialized unit that performs her role quite well. Now go out there and use Summer Alex to help bring down Joldabath and Volk. That's all from me. Moga out.